Welcome to another Sam's Book Club. Tonight we talk about 1 million followers, how you can take your social media efforts and your digital marketing efforts to the next level. This book was revolutionary for our team, for the different teams that I kind of work with, and we have been trying this strategy and it's working very well so far. And we're going to go through what that strategy is in a few moments. But first, because this book club is created for digital missionary leaders from around the world that are helping to have our evangelism, digital evangelism efforts for the Seventh-day Adventist Church go forward. This is what this book club is about. So you'll learn lessons even if you're not a digital missionary, or even if you don't have any relationship to any religion at all whatsoever. But we here are focusing on how we can use all these tools to reach more and more people with the gospel of Jesus Christ. So Karen, why don't you pray for us to get us started tonight?
Happy to. Dear Father in heaven, thank you so much for this opportunity to gather together to find out how we can increase our effectiveness to reach people where their needs are with a message that they will stop and listen and take into their lives so that it will affect their lives, not only for now, but for eternity. We pray that you would be with each one of us, that we would learn from each other, learn from the content of this book, so that we can do an ever-increasing better work for you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, let's go. So the premise of the book is very simple, and we can summarize it. And here it is. First, you don't know who your audience is. Okay, so you think you do, but you have no idea. You don't know who exactly your content is reaching. And there is only one way to find out, and that is to put it out there and test. So the premise of the book is for you to build followers on a flow that basically is you create the content, you test it, and then you pivot. You move in a different direction depending on what that content is. So let's write this down here. As you noticed, I've got a board to help us. And I didn't think through the microphone element of it, but hopefully you can still hear me. That seems to be what the author is presenting to the world as his main idea. You create the content. You don't know exactly who you're reaching, but create the content. Do something. Create lots of different options of it. And then you test it. When you test, we'll go into details about how to test. And thirdly, once you find out who your audience is and how your content is working and how it's transforming and changing lives, well, then you're ready for the third part, which is to pivot. Okay? The book tonight is 1 million followers by a guy called Brendan Kane. And what Brendan is trying to tell us is, don't assume you know your audience and try to reach them. Just create lots of different content, test it out, and then pivot. Move in a different direction if the people are connecting with you at another level. So, Alyssa, what do you think of this strategy? You've been doing digital marketing for years. You are the director of digital marketing for Adventist World Radio. What are your thoughts on this?
I actually really liked this book, and it has actually changed how I have viewed the strategy moving forward for Adventist World Radio. Because what we tended to do, which I kind of discovered was totally wrong, so I'm totally willing to even admit it, was that we created ads, we'll say, like on Facebook or whatever. And as we created them, we put like tons of different interests in them. We wanted to get as much as we could and try to capture every single person. And we put kind of like all of our eggs in one basket, so to speak. So every interest, every age group, every demographic, and we'd create one ad, and it needed to do everything. And what I discovered, and what makes so much sense when you really think about it, is that what you should be doing is testing all the different things and figure out like, what is the interest that seems to be getting like this message is reaching the best, which demographic it is. And so instead of having one ad, I might have 100 ads. So you can use the same dollar amount for all of these ads that you would have spent on that big one ad. But what you've done is you've narrowed in and you start to refine who is your audience, who are you reaching, and what do they gravitate to the best.
Excellent. We are going to start using this more and more. It's already creating some great effects with us. And before we go into more details, let's talk about the platform themselves. The author presents Facebook as the main platform that you should build your audience on. Build it all on Facebook, and then use Facebook to take them to your YouTube channel, use Facebook to take them to other platforms. And however, there are a lot of people that are saying that Facebook is dead. Eric, tell us more about your thoughts on that point exactly. Is Facebook dead? Is it still a useful platform?
Well, I think that if there was any chance that it was dead, having a pandemic come through sure revived it, because that's pretty much the only place that people are on. So, it's true that people are using TikTok and some of these other platforms. Facebook and is sometimes complimented a lot by TikTok among Gen Zers, or even YouTube. But those platforms aren't nearly as easy to breach, I think, as Facebook is. And I think that's why he's taking this approach and saying, look, people are there. Let's start there and work out, like you just said.
Excellent. He positions the testing part in Facebook ads, which also includes Instagram. And there are a lot of people on Instagram. So the process that he seems to be presenting is this. You create multiple variations of the same ad, and you launch it at midnight. Okay, so at midnight, you launch it. That's the beginning of the day. And as you progress, by the morning, by 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, you know the ads that are resonating and you know the ads that are not resonating. And so you switch off the ads that are not resonating. And here is the trick that I did not know about. You don't just increase the spend on the ads that are resonating. You duplicate them, which brings all of the comments, it brings all of the shares and so on to the new ad set. You duplicate that ad set and you increase the expenditure. So these ads that you just created over there, you put them at $1 each, $2 each. You don't have to spend a lot of money to test this out. He calls these dark posts because they don't affect your followers, because they are seen by the target audience that you targeted them to. So you think, let me show you some of the ads that we have on the Adventist Church page. Let me see if I can find that here. And you will see multiple variations of the same ads. This is very important. As you're trying to reach different audiences, you are trying to understand who you are even, able to reach. And there are some ads that resonate well and others that don't resonate very well. So I'll try and limit what I'll show here. Let me try over here. So here we have a series that is prayer for students, prayer for coronavirus, prayer for hospitals, and new page likes. Okay. So the page likes campaign, we have at $50. And this is using the strategy of the book. We've reached 3 million people and 229,000 page likes over the last few months. How much did we spend to get that? That's $4,900. If you know anything about Facebook, you know that this is an incredibly well designed campaign to get 2 cents per like in various parts of the world. So for the other campaigns, here is what we found. we get for prayer for students. We'll go into it in a moment. But here is $10 a day. The reason why we are not spending more than $10 a day is that we cannot cope with the number of people that are contacting us. So we spend less than $500, and we've had 22,900 people contact us asking for prayer, which is exactly the sort of people that we are trying to find online. And Facebook can help us find precisely those people. So when you go here, notice ethnicity, gender, age. So we cut across 3 layers: ethnicity, gender, age. And you're wondering, does Facebook target ethnicity? They target ethnicity by interests, and they have their own algorithms to make that work. So it's an interesting way of reaching people. So it answers the marketing question, what do people like me do in a situation like this? So if you're Asian and you are struggling as a student, and then you see an advert asking for prayer, and you see a picture of an Asian in the advert, you are much more likely to engage with that advert. Because the question always is, what do people like me do in a situation like this? And it seems, as we look in this list here, white male 18 to 34 is the group that is mostly being reached by this. Okay, so Facebook is finding them. Now, what does that look like in terms of the ads themselves? So here are the ads, and you can see here is one example. Let's take one that is ranking really, really well. So this one here, what does that look like? If I click duplicate, will it? No. And that's what the book is saying. If this is performing well, what you do is not just increase the cost here. You duplicate it, and then you set it up again. And this is the picture. Okay, so you can see the various options. So this is the picture. There is text. If I go into edit, I'm sure I can. Let's have a look. Yeah, here are them all. Edit. Did I click edit? Here's the second best one. Where's the creative? Once upon a time, you were like a little kid with big dreams that you promised you would make real one day. Don't disappoint yourself. What can we pray for you about? Okay, so when we created this ad, as you can see, there are many of ads that were created. So we created lots of ads, right? Create. Then we targeted the same ad to multiple different audiences. And now we're testing to see what works and what doesn't. And this ad here is performing quite well. So let's look at the previous ad. Let's get rid of this and look at the previous ad and see what message is resonating really well. Here it is. The one who falls and gets up is so much stronger than the one who never fell. How can we best pray for you? Seventh-day Adventist Church. And then it just says, pray for me, send message. So is this working or not? When we go to our page and we see the contacts, most of the people who are contacting us are men 18 to 34. And obviously, the ethnicity here is not accurate. It is as accurate as possible. We don't know exactly who's contacting us unless we go to their individual profile. But these are the ads that are performing in this particular way. So just for this demographic, you notice we created positive and negative, positive and negative. Now, if you were offering prayer, here's a very important point. If you were offering prayer, would you think that a negative ad would be would be hitting more people, or a positive ad? So let's look at a negative ad, such as this one, for example. So a negative ad is somebody that is very sad. So you see that he's sad, and that kind of sad ad. Would you think it will hit more or less? We did not know, so we created all the sets with a positive set and a negative set, and look what happened. We have positive, 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 and then negative, negative, negative. So we just don't know. But the positives, look at the numbers, are far better than the negatives. And I would have told you, no, do negative. You know, people that are very sad over there, that's what we need. No, turns out we're getting better results with positive. You don't know. You have to create a hypothesis. You have to imagine something that you want to achieve, and then you go ahead and set that up. So this is how this works. You create lots of different assets, you try them out, and then you turn off the ones that are not performing well. So let's do that together at this point. So we're looking at the same list, and we see that down here, there are some that are costing 9 cents, 3 cents. The 3 cents we're going to leave, but we're going to turn the 9 cents off and this one off. So off, off. That's it. We don't need them because they're not performing as well. Let's take our budget and maximize it on the ones that are performing very well. And that's one way to do this properly. Now, I could show you more examples, but I think that will be enough to demonstrate this concept. So let's go forward. Alyssa, what are the ways in which you think a local church could use this with a very small budget?
You know, one way that it's actually something that we're working on as the Seventh-day Adventist Church and with AWR partnership is we're actually using Bible verses. And what we're doing is we're taking Bible verses and we're creating 6 different versions of these ads. Some are taking a Bible verse and they're only having the verse with just like a plain background. And some are going to have images of people on them because sometimes we kind of want to find out, do they like rather look at people or would they rather look at blank background? And we're having some that have nature on the background. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to do them for likes. But this is the second one is the one that I can see it really benefiting churches. We're going to see if people want to study the Bible. And we're going to try to generate Bible study leads with this. So you get a bunch of Bible verses. Again, you don't have to spend a ton of money, as Sam said. Turn it on at midnight, you shut it off if it's not performing well, and you retweak it. So we're creating a bunch of different ways to have a copy that goes with it. We're intermixing all of that together. But that's one way that a church could use it. Another thing could be if you are doing a seminar or a series. Maybe you're doing a cooking school. Okay, so generally we're thinking like, okay, let's target mothers, in the area or whatever. But maybe you can look for health professionals as an interest. And something we kind of have mentioned is that when you do the interests in Facebook, you can put multiple interests, but you actually want to pick one interest per post. And the reason is actually really smart in that you're doing the one interest so you know which interests are performing. If you put 4 different interests and it's performing well, you don't know why it's performing well. So for instance, you might pick people who are into Instant Pots. In America, we all love our Instant Pots. So, you have an Instant Pot audience.
What is an Instant Pot?
An Instant Pot is a pressure cooker. So think of a machine we plug in the wall. I can put my beans in it and 20 minutes later, I have beans. It's wonderful. I love it. So you might have something specifically targeting those people, or maybe you're targeting work at home moms or stay at home moms, or you just create all these different kind of things, people who might interact. You might even go with stay at home dads. Who knows? You don't know. You got to think out of the box. Who wants to cook? You might also look at health habits. You just got to think of what are the people who I would maybe have come to the seminar? What would they listen to? What would they watch? What would they be attending? Which restaurants might they go to? So you think of you kind of create a character in your brain and then all of those become your interests. So, maybe my character totally likes watching Dr. Oz. I don't know. He's a talk show person. Maybe he becomes one of my interest kind of things. So how, all of these things can help you. Oftentimes we put a ton of money into mailings. You can, typical evangelistic series, at least back when I was kind of helping our churches with it, could run $30,000 to $40,000 just to send out postcards to blanket the area. For $30,000 or $40,000, you could make a huge dent on social media. For $4,000, you could probably get even more people, and you could get very specific people who have an interest and they didn't just throw it out. So I think, cooking schools, you could do parenting classes. If you're offering parenting seminars right now, lots of parents would love that. If you have stuff that you can do to help people who maybe are, at home because of COVID-19, you want to offer your services. You could target that specifically maybe to 65 plus, or you just kind of play around with what are the things that your church has to offer? Who do we want to get them? And then create as many different interests as you can for that character.
So let's talk about, fantastic. Let's talk about followers that are near you versus followers that are far. Because if you're in the West, if you are in a country that is very well developed, chances are that it will be very expensive to reach people near you. So the author talks about reaching people that are not near you. And he doesn't speak badly of this. He says people are people and they're everywhere in the world. And it's social proof that human beings are interested in what you are offering. So if you focus on different parts of the world, then you can raise the number of followers that you have in your local page. And this will have an impact as people discover you who are near you. So he makes that point. And Eric, I see your hand. Let's go to you.
Yeah, so I've been involved with marketing for GYC for a number of years, and this is a strategy that we were using originally. We were just blanket, marketing and promoting posts worldwide, and we started seeing a huge uptick in people following our page from Africa, from Asia, India, all these different countries. And I actually thought to myself, oh man, we need to limit it because we're shifting our audience from our target. And so we did end up narrowing it down just a little bit, but I'm realizing now that actually having those extra followers ended up serving us well for the last few years, because it ended up helping our content go a little bit more, I don't want to say viral, but a bit more prioritized by the algorithm than it would have been.
Excellent. Tell us more about the impact of that and how long it took and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so, I'd be going a while back to give you specific metrics, but basically we would spend probably not a whole lot, like $50 a week type of thing. And we just had this going on and on for usually 3-4 months out of the year at the very least, leading up to our annual conferences. And just having that ongoing, usually we'd have like quotes, inspirational quotes or Bible verses or things like that. And it would just gain interest year round. And our goal wasn't necessarily a call to action right away. It was first to provide some degree of value. And then over time, we could eventually build into either a direct or transitional type of call to action.
Excellent. Well, let me go to Karen. People have been contacting your Facebook page and at AWR quite a lot. How have you been able to answer them? Tell us about the CD and what happens when people do get in touch with you. What should you be doing?
Well, most recently we've been getting a lot of the contacts from a program that we had that was viewed on Facebook and on YouTube, and then they were clicking from there. They were being directed to a website where they could interact with us. Having said that, different places in the world, such as the Philippines, where our Center for Digital Evangelism is, where we pray for people when they have prayer requests, we answer their Bible questions and get them involved in Bible studies if that's their interest. Having said that, a lot of those interests came because of people doing watch parties on Facebook. People sharing on Facebook that they were watching what was going on because of YouTube and everything else. And so the key in that to keep them engaged, in my opinion, has been so far to be answering them as quickly as possible. We have instant chat, having somebody instantly available, and then contacting and recontacting them. If they have shared a prayer request with us, to continue contacting them to find out, how is that person? Maybe they contacted us because their father is ill in the hospital with COVID. So a couple of days later, we will contact them again. How is your dad doing? We've been praying for them and stuff, and creating relationships with what before had no face. And now we have a name. Now we are getting a face, and some of those have transitioned over to Zoom Bible studies. I'm not sure if that answers your question exactly, but it's that instant connection with a live person that has made a really big difference. In fact, we've been told many times that they cannot believe there's a real person on the other end. They were expecting a robot to answer them, but instead they got a live person. And that has made a very big difference with them telling their friends that they need to go, check out this website or this Facebook page or the YouTube channel where those productions are at.
Excellent. So let's talk about contacting people. Eric, you posted a question here. Is it better to contact people starting with the most recent to the oldest, or the oldest to the most recent? I don't know. You need to contact them all, because you need to try and get to 100% within 10 minutes. That's your goal. What's your goal? 100% response within 10 minutes. And that's very difficult to do. So one of the key things that you need is to have a team that is ready to answer the people's questions. Oh, but how do I do that? Expand your volunteers. Get your own fans to be moderators. You know, if you see somebody that is a top fan, that's a new thing on Facebook, is top fan. They're always commenting. They're always there. You read their post. You get to know them, you know, as they interact with you. And then you go to them and say, hey, I noticed that you are very involved. Would you mind being a moderator? And that can, you know, excuse me, the power of that is that they already know you, and maybe they can speak for you. Have an interview with them and then invite them to be a moderator, and then invite other people to help moderate. And this will create a real team that is helping people on your page. Facebook knows, they measure how interactive you are with your audience. Don't expect them to increase the number of people that they show your post to unless you are willing to interact with your audience. This is really important. So if you are not talking to the people that contact you within minutes, if you are not responding to their comments outside, then Facebook thinks, well, they're just promoting stuff. They're not really interested in community. So when people, your followers, are on their feed looking at content, Facebook shows your content less times to less people. So it is a very hungry beast. And it's the same on every platform. YouTube does the same, you know, everything does the same. AWR has experienced a growth in YouTube that is, they went from 3,000 followers to 35,000 followers in a few months. So it's insane. Why? Because they take the answering people very, very seriously. And there are lots of different optimizations that they've been doing. Same with the Adventist Church channel. Those are the, you know, some of the channels that I observe very closely. And it works. I want to take you down a road here. Let's create an ad together so that you can see the options on Facebook. If you are just used to boosting, do you do Facebook marketing? Yes, I'm a Facebook marketer. What do you do? I just click boost and I go, yes. No, let's go deeper, you know, inside your business center, your business, Facebook business. And this will help you understand how this thing works. So if I show you a campaign, here, let me see this one here.
Hey, Sam, while you're getting that set up,
yeah.
Someone asked a great question. Why midnight? And I think this is an important question. I don't know if you're already going to get to that later, but I just didn't want to
that's a good question.
Out on that. Like, what is the point of launching a campaign at midnight? If I'm here in Maryland, why not start at 8 a.m. when I wake up? Why not start it at 5 p.m. when I get done and I finally get it in there? What is the purpose of the midnight launch?
Well, the author of the book suggests that it's a good measurement of the day, because the bids on Facebook, they work by day. So two things. The first is your ad needs to be approved. And if your ad is approved at 8 p.m., it's running for, you know, 12, 15 hours by the time you see it and so on. And it will always be a good time for somebody in the world to view your ad. So if you are doing hyper-local ads, so just within a country or just within a city or a state or a region, then start it whenever you think it's best. In terms of people viewing your ad. But it needs to have a few hours into it. So if you start at 8 a.m., then you look at it at 8 p.m., 12 hours later, and then you have to spend the night rescheduling, working on your ads so that they can go further, duplicating them, setting a bigger audience and budget, etc., then that's your nighttime. So if you want to create a rhythm where every morning you decide, okay, I'm going to optimize my ads for today, then midnight is as good a time as any to see how that will connect with the people that are following you and those that you want to follow you. So there's no magic on the midnight. It's just that's when Facebook starts counting the bidding system for your ad. So you may as well coordinate with that.
And I like what you're saying, Sam. And the bidding system, I think, comes into play here too, because if I say I'm going to only pay $10 a day, algorithms can be like, if they know, oh, I've got 13 hours to play with this, they can be a little bit more fine-tuned and trying to figure out who they're sending it to. Whereas what the authors was saying was that if I'm doing this at 8 p.m. at night, all of a sudden Facebook's like, I have to spend $10 in the next 4 hours. And they just cram it out to as many people as they can. Yeah. And their algorithms are not being as cautious and careful. They want your money. Okay. So the thing is, you want your money to be used well. They just want your money. So by playing with the system a little bit, by putting it at midnight, what you're doing is it will eventually start showing when you wake up, you can see how it's doing, but you're giving Facebook the maximum amount of time to decide this is the audience. These are the people, when they wake up, we're going to show it to them, rather than like, oh, let me just see who I can spam with this so that we can take their money. So I loved when Brendan said that, because that made a lot of sense to me, because we often scheduled ads at the end of the day and I was like, oh, maybe we should stop doing that.
That's excellent. And we used to do the same. We used to start in the evening or whenever it was approved. And what did that do? That created, okay, so $10 per day. It would spend $10 in the next few hours till midnight, and then it would start spending the next, and that messes up the who the audience is that Facebook is measuring against this ad. Because when it's got 24 hours to spend $2, it will look for the absolute best people it already thinks will like that ad. And so you end up having a better audience at the end of it. Here is, let's try. So we're going to take this. I'm just gonna create a new ad set to go through the different options. And we are going to start with a new audience. Let's talk about lookalike custom audience. Reach people who you've already interacted with in your business. So that's one thing that you could do. You could create an audience based on people that visited your website, on a customer list that you have. So if you have, for example, an email list of people that have already subscribed to your MailChimp, then this is it. You take that customer list, you load it all onto Facebook and say, these are the people that I want to reach. Or I want to reach people like these. So we'll come to that in a moment. That's a lookalike audience. You can also have offline activities and so on, but that's the really advanced stuff. We won't go into it. People that viewed a video. So if I click here, choose a content type. People who viewed at least 3 seconds of your video, or at least 10 seconds of your video, or 15 seconds of your video. Let's go for 15 seconds. And then choose a content type. I'm going to click browse. Engagement. Okay. Choose videos. So now I'm going to choose videos. Let's say this is a level up. Or let me choose a video here that we've posted. Let's say this is a level up medical symposium kind of videos. So I'm going to select this video. I'm going to select all of the videos for the medical symposium. Where are they? Show sources. That's
You're
why.
still in July.
Yeah. 3. Okay. So I need to go back a bit more. Medical symposium. Second coming. Okay, let me change the page here. Let me go to, where's our page? Here it is. Seventh-day Adventist page. So then I want to focus on, let's say, A&N in depth. That's what I want to focus on. Let me find where they are. Do we post it here? I don't even think we posted here. So let's say Unlocking Bible Prophecies. Oh, here, Level Up stuff. So that's an AWR show that we repost on our page. So that's one there. Where else? Where are the others? Here's another. And let's take one more. Oh, we post a lot of stuff, eh? Here is another. Okay, that will do. So these are the videos that I want to focus on. And see that you can even take it from multiple pages that you are an administrator of. Okay, so you can select by Facebook page, by Instagram, etc. So we leave it as Facebook, confirm. These are the videos. So in the past 365 days, yes, I'm going to name this audience Level Up, create audience. So what this is doing is it's taking everybody who's watched more than 15 seconds of that video, and it's now created an audience. I will then select where I want that audience to be. So here I will not choose United States. I will remove United States, and I will put a very broad audience called worldwide, which is a new thing. It's about a year on Facebook. So this is worldwide. It's saying it's unavailable, the audience size, because it's now calculating how many people watched more than 15 seconds. All of those videos that I just signed up. 18 to 65, all genders, all demographics, interest, and behavior. Detailed targeting expansion is off. Let's look at this a little bit. So here is where I can select different things. So demographics, interest, or behavior. I can put Seventh-day Adventists, Seventh-day Adventist Church. So notice that Facebook knows of 22,140,770 people worldwide who are interested in Seventh-day Adventist Church. Pretty accurate, I would say. Yeah, they know what they're doing. And that includes all of these. You don't have to keep repeating any of the other Adventist stuff. This includes all of that. But you can also browse some features. So you can go demographics. Look at this, education level. I want people who are at high school. I want people at university. I want postgraduate, doctorate degree, foundational degree, etc. So professional degree. So because this is a show that is targeted at doctors, we're going to put a professional degree. Okay, so they have a professional degree. That's the audience that we're trying to reach. So now it's defined even more. People that watch the video for more than 15 seconds who also have a degree. And we can search for field of study. So if we put medicine, did that find? No. Law, doctor. It should find with medicine. I think there's another way to find that. Okay. Then, sorry.
Healthcare, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe healthcare. Well, okay. But yeah, healthcare might have worked. Then I can choose financial. So education, now financial, income. I'm going to say household income, the US only. I can choose whether they live in zip codes with household incomes between this and this, this and this, and this and this. So maybe you have a product and you're running a business and that matters to you, then you can, Facebook knows this. They know everything. And it's very scary. Live events, anniversary. Anniversary within 30 days, anniversary within 31 to 60 days. So imagine a prayer campaign for couples, you know, that their anniversary is coming up. Well, we can do that. People that are away from family. Facebook knows those that are away from their family. It's nuts. You can focus on them with a campaign. People that are away from their home, maybe at university, maybe in other places, you can focus on that too. Date of birth, month of birth. Let's do a campaign offering something for their birthday. Upcoming birthday. Okay, so upcoming birthdays, tick. Friends of, close friends of people who recently moved. Close friends of men with a birthday in 0 to 7 days. Close friends of men with birthdays 7 to 30 days. Close friends of newly engaged people. Close friends of newlyweds. Close friends of people with birthdays in a month. Birthdays in a week, 7 days of women. Close friends of women with birthdays 7 to 30 days. It's crazy. Long distance relationship. Okay, so think of a series of ads for your page that says it's hard being away from the one you love. Right? Why not? You know, do you have content for them from your ministry or business or whatever? You can use it. New job, new relationship, newly engaged, 1 year, 3 months, newlywed, recently moved, parents. All parents. No, new parents, 0 to 12. So Robert would definitely make it here, guys.
See, this is
parents.
where that targeting would go great, though, with what we were talking about earlier for churches. Like if you're having a parenting seminar, you maybe aren't trying to target people specifically with high schoolers, but maybe you're trying to target people who have kids who are like 3 to 5 and like 6 to 8. This helps you be able to start to like really hone in on it in a way that just like a mailing out to your city would not be able to do.
Yeah.
So Facebook it's scary how much it knows, but we can use that to help reach more people for the Lord, which is beautiful. So as scary as it is, let's use it.
Parents with preteens, parents with primary school children, parents with toddlers. Relationship. Civil partnership, complicated. Divorced, domestic partnership, engaged, in relationship, married, open relationship, separated, single, unspecified, widowed. Work. Employers, you can search for who they work for. So if you're in a local church and there is a particular company in your town that has like 15,000 employees, you can target those employees that way. Industries, you can work with industries altogether, right? So education and libraries, farming, fishing, legal services, management, military, production, protective service, sales, transport and moving, veterans, job titles. You can even search for specific job titles. I want to talk to those that are creative directors or whatever. So all of this that we talked about is under, let's go under demographics. Now let's talk about interests. Business and industry. Interested in advertising, interested in agriculture, interested in architecture, interested in aviation, interested in banking, but not only that, investment banking, online banking, retail banking. And the list here, guys, we would take an hour just to read all of these. It's long. So if you're focusing on science, for example, and you know something on science and religion, then these are the people that you would focus on. Entertainment, films. Are they interested in action films, animated films, anime films, documentary films, fantasy, horror films, science fiction? So if you want to do something on the state of the dead, focus on horror films. You will get somewhere with them, okay? Because they're interested in that. Again, let's be creative about how to find people here. Games, are they interested in games? What kind of games? Live events, ballet, bars, concerts, dance balls, music festival, nightclubs, theater, plays, etc. Music, what kind of music do they like? Reading, do they read books, comics, fiction books? Television programs, chat show, comedies, game shows, reality shows, family and relationships. Do they like And this is their interest, okay? So do they like dating stuff, family stuff, fatherhood stuff? So look at people who like fatherhood stuff. 415 million people that like fatherhood stuff. So you have a project for fathers, as Alyssa was saying, then just click this box and you can say Christians who are into fatherhood stuff. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove this video engagement from the top, okay? Because then it gives me that audience in a better way. I'm going to remove professional degree, okay? So 2 billion people right now is my target audience. A little bit broad, I would say, a little bit broad. Let's try and narrow. 2 billion, possibly too many. Let's narrow that down. And if I increase this to 13-year-olds, it doesn't let me anymore. Interesting. Oh, it's because it's worldwide. That's why. So let's go back here. And where were we? Interests, family and relationships. So we're going to go fatherhood is what we want. People who are interested in fatherhood and marriage and parenting and motherhood and family. Okay, so collectively, that's 1.4 billion people. A little bit broad. Let's remove motherhood and let's remove, well, let's keep these. So 1.3 million, and we're going to add another one called Christianity. There was one for Christianity that involved all of it. Here. Okay, so in the Adventist Church, this is it. This is set up as this and this. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove that from here. People who are interested in this, and then I'm going to narrow the audience to Seventh-day Adventists. And 20 million of us are interested in family, fatherhood, marriage, and parenting. Let's remove parenting. Let's remove marriage. Let's remove family and just leave fatherhood. And you have 9.4 million Adventists who are interested in fatherhood. So that's one way that you can, connect your content with others. So here is, if you already part of a group, it's okay to target that group. Why? Because of the number of shares. You want to reach their friends, and you can do that directly. You can go up here and go, I want to create an audience with the friends of the people who are in this audience. And that's also possible. Okay. So I don't want to stay too long here because there are really too many options, but it gives you an idea of the kinds of things that are here: sports, outdoors, technology. So if what they're interested in. And now behaviors, I will talk about behaviors because that part is truly scary. Anniversary consumer classification. So Brazil, people in Brazil who prefer high value goods or mid value goods. Let's talk about digital activities. People that early technology adopters. So when you have a new something, let's see, early technology adopters who are interested in fatherhood. Let's remove fatherhood. And let's still narrow that audience. Seventh-day Adventist Church, 900,000 people. So in the Adventist Church, there are 900,000 people who are early technology adopters. These are the people, guys, that we need to focus on with a lot of the new stuff coming up. Okay. Expats, mobile device user, mobile device, more categories. Multicultural affinity. See, that's where we got that data from. politics, likely engagement with U.S. political content, conservative. So if you have text, the copy in your ad that is more conservative leaning, click this box. If they are more liberal leaning, then click this box. And if they are moderate, you can click this box. And each of them have about 34 million people that they know are those. So even the kind of content that you put out. So what I would say is, if you have content that focuses on personal responsibility and the need to study the Bible and to prepare for the second coming, that sort of thing, go to conservatives. If you have something that focuses on helping others and people are suffering and we need to help them, then click the whatever the other option of conservative was. Purchase behavior, Ramadan. If you have a campaign to reach Muslims, Ramadan. Very good. Soccer. There's a category for soccer. Yeah. And travel. Okay. Frequent international travelers, commuters, etc. Returned from travel 2 weeks ago. Yeah. There's not many people here now. Okay, once you're ready with that, you can go forward and read the other bits. I would just mention a lookalike audience. And a lookalike audience is the concept that you can select a group of people. And you can tell Facebook, I'm not trying to reach these people. I'm trying to reach people that are like these people. So you figure it out through your algorithms, the characteristics of the people here, find people that are like them within these settings. And then Facebook goes ahead and finds them. And that means you're communicating with them, you're reaching them. So remember, create, test, pivot. Create, test, pivot. So if you created some content and fatherhood seems to be blowing up and everybody's talking about fatherhood, you did not plan to do something on fatherhood, but now you're pivoting, and the next month you're going to focus on fatherhood because you've got an audience that is interested in that. And then you keep moving on in this way. All right, I haven't been following the chat. I see, Alyssa, you have anything interesting from there, and then we'll open up for comments.
I think Karen, Miranda has a great question. We could actually just bring her in here and she could ask it, but Eric and I have been trying to help address it a little.
Where is Miranda? Miranda. Karen Miranda. You are here somewhere. I'm going to find you. No, I'm not. Let me search. There she is. Promote to panelist.
Hi.
Hi. Nope. Sorry. That was my fault.
We could just share it. Oh, she's back. She's still here. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's my fault. I need to.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Start your video so I can, if you can. Otherwise, let me cancel the spotlight.
I'm
you don't need to. It's fine.
I'm just going to leave my picture for now.
It's a nice picture. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I was just talking because I think on the book it talks about paid advertise, which is, yes, when you have a budget, and so it's great and it's a great tool, but I know that it's also a reality in many churches that they don't have a budget, or of course paid advertisement, it doesn't mean that you have to spend thousands of dollars, but sometimes they cannot do it, let's say, and they want to grow more organically. How can we apply these principles in a more organic way? Because I noticed one difference. The book said, well, run the ad at midnight, but I've been experimenting with organic growth, and I noticed that not all the time. If I do it at 12, let's say if you put it at 12, it doesn't work as good as when you do it when your audience is in the platform. So you have to do more of that. But I don't know if you guys have more insight on that.
Yes, all that we've been talking about is not organic. So far, all we've been talking about is paid.
Yes.
So here you have a list of ads. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them made the cut. These are doing well. So what do you do with the 5 that are doing well? You select them for posting organically at the best time your page has engagement.
Okay.
That's it.
So then it's gonna be different. Like the time setting, it won't apply for organic growth, right? I think that's something kind of like that's when you go to the platform and you go definitely check the analytics on each platform. I don't know, Instagram or the insights, and you go there and you analyze your audience, because then you have to make sure that at least them, if you want them to be promoters or share your content, you want to make sure that they are aware of the content that you're posting or you're trying to share, right?
Exactly right. Alyssa, you were going to say something?
Yeah. So one thing is there is some best practices overall that you can just learn from, like following social media bloggers, like people who are like kind of in the know. Like 2 p.m., like between 1 o'clock and like 5 p.m. tend to be really great times for people to engage. Shareability might be at a different time. So finding out, and I actually look specifically at what nonprofits are, because they'll break it even down as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one thing. And the other one I just posted here in the comments as well is when somebody interacts with your post, if they like it or thumbs up it or any of that, you can invite those people to like your page. So if you get 100 people who have liked one of your posts, you invite every single one of those people to like your page. So you might have 100 people, but 30 people share it, and then some of their friends like it. You can now invite all of those people as well. It takes a little bit of work, but especially if you don't have a budget, it's a way to start creating that momentum, start creating that following. I did a lot of that when I first came to AWR before, we had budgets finalized. I did a lot of that in my previous business, and it really helped lead to some exponential growth. It takes more time, but you don't have to pay the money. So, there's kind of like the balance there, but I think it's one of those things that it's good to know for organic marketing.
Excellent. Here is the best place to find that information, Karen. If you go to your business center.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yes.
Good.
I just thought that it might be sometimes good for others to know also, because of course I know that a lot of churches and departments, and so they don't have as much as budget. So then definitely organic, it's something that it's important to kind of also use it as a player in the strategy. Like you have a paid ad strategy and also an organic strategy, and play with both like you said.
Everyone needs paid.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
This is very important. Everyone needs a paid strategy. Even if you're spending $1 once a week per ad on a set, $1 is the minimum. But you need to find out who your people are, and that's the absolute best way to do it. There is no other better way to do it. So if you believe that it's worth having a Facebook page and having a digital presence somewhere, then find the budget. It's better for you to have a part-time person and some budget to invest in this. It's better for you to take, and it's not much. It's $20 a month. That's enough to get started. And everybody, even in other countries, they can find $20 a month or $10 a month to find a way to promote their page. So let's go here. I want to show you this here. You find this by going to the business center, business.facebook.com, and then at the bottom you go to analytics. Okay. And if your page is not set up as a business yet, please set it up as a business and get it verified and all the rest of it as soon as possible. It takes a while, but give them the documentation that is needed. It's incredibly important for you to do that. Okay, so here is the activities by hour in the last 28 days. This changed. Alyssa, do you recognize the change? Now Sunday morning is our most active time in the last 28 days. And if I choose the previous 28 days, then it's a different time again. So, oh, the data. I'll try not to be distracted. Look at that. Nigeria is now the most visited, followed by the Philippines, Kenya, Zambia, and then Ghana. So before the pandemic, the US was the most engaged, but because of these ads that are absolutely growing in cheaper parts of the world, then the US is still the same engagement in the US. It's just that the others have taken over from previous times.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think it's something that I like about the book, that it made emphasis on make sure that you go over constantly to those insight analytics. I think it's very valuable for organic growth and also for paid for the paid strategy, because then you are consistently you see what's happening with your audience, if it's changing or how he's moving, because it's not consistent. Like it's not a formula that is going to be consistent through a whole year or a month. It's going to be changing, and I think that's something that the book talks about. Like you constantly you have to be checking and testing. Don't repeat again and again until you find at least an idea how to proceed, right?
Excellent. Yes, correct. Okay. Anybody else want to say something? Let's open up to other comments. Just click the little hand and then you can comment. Yes, Rosie, go ahead.
Hello, good morning. I'm here in the Philippines. Lenny, first of all, I would like to thank Pastor Sam for really organizing this wonderful book club. And I have learned a lot from the previous books that we have discussed. Now, this specific book brings into mind a story in the Bible, which is found in 2 Kings 13, 14, and chapter 13, verses 14 and 19, which wherein King Jehoash was instructed by Elisha to take the arrows and strike the ground, but he only struck it 3 times, and then King Elisha told him that you should have struck it 5 or 6 times, then you would have defeated Amram. Now, this book brings into mind the concept of variations, wherein we need to do a lot of things. We have to do it again and again and again, and with different kind of concept, and so that we would be able to identify who are the people that are responding. Now, I find this one really very, very interesting, and I feel that it would really help me as a literature evangelist, because we know that at this time it's really very hard to visit people. And for the past 3 years, I have my Facebook page, but I was not able to really maximize and utilize it because I don't know how to do it. But hearing the podcast, I realized that there are so many opportunities, but the only thing that I have to do is to learn how to navigate and to learn how to come up with compelling messages and how to be able to really identify the demographics that I need and the different interests. And that's why I believe I am greatly blessed with this book that you have shared, Pastor Sam, and thank you very much. And hopefully I'm asking for your help, because for the past 5 months, I didn't have the opportunity to sell books, and no sales means no family would be able to have that opportunity, that our literatures would be able to penetrate their homes and get connected with our product. So I hope that with this one, God would really help me out on how I'm going to be able to push through with our literature ministry through online.
Absolutely. Excellent. Thank you very much, Rosie. We've got literature evangelists that if they took this very seriously, they could really build a solid foundation to have, even in pandemics, a constant set of clients that they can help. Because colporting, and I've done a lot of it, it's not just the books that you are giving, it's the follow-up, it's the personal care that you do. And that's why, and that's what people are looking for. They can just buy books on Amazon. But with that personal touch, with that follow-up with the family and so on, that's excellent. Okay, any other comments or thoughts? Charles, did you have your hand? I think it disappeared. Can you click it again? Charles, yeah, there you go. Go ahead, Charles. You're muted.
Okay, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Pastor Sam. I've been part of this book club for, I think, from the second book you reviewed till now, and I've been soaking in all the knowledge. But I think this particular book resonated so much with me. And by the way, I'm in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, and I'm happy that Nigeria ran off in what you just
Yes, sir. Nigeria is winning.
Yeah. So here in my union, Eastern Nigerian Union Conference in Nigeria, we have a project that is about to take off, where we plan to do about 500 short videos to promote an evangelistic campaign that will dovetail into 2023, when the church here in Eastern Nigeria will be 100 years. And somehow I just found myself to be part of the team, and with what I've been soaking in on, during these meetings in the book club, it's been it's been so fantastic. So I'm so excited that somehow I found myself here, and this particular book, I'm just so happy with it. So I just said, just a way of saying that, this is actually meeting a need. So I'm so
Excellent.
happy that, thank you so much about that.
Thank you for being part of this journey here, Charles, and best of luck, and may God bless you with the plans for 2023. Look at that. A lot of forward planning. We love forward planning, don't we, Karen?
Thank you so much.
Letty, go ahead, please.
Good morning. It's 4 a.m. here in Kenya.
Oh wow!
And I'm very happy to have joined the book club, and I've learned a lot, especially for today. This 4 million followers. I am on Facebook, yes, but I don't have a page because I've not had the knowledge on how to go about it. And what I've learned so far for the books that I've been able to join is that we need consistency and discipline, and of course prayer. And I'm happy that today, with all the panelists who are very knowledgeable, I'm learning something. And I look forward to implementing, even as I continue looking at other resources. I'm also a literature evangelist, and I know Facebook and other social media platforms are a very good way of reaching out, and as you said, giving that care and that touch. When you speak to someone one-on-one and explain about what benefits they'll get from a given book, then it gives you an upper hand. Unlike if you are to buy a book on Amazon, you'll get it and perhaps you do not know what it entails. So I think this would be a very good initiative to reach out to people.
Yeah, and thank you so much for waking up at 4 a.m. I am humbled by by your dedication. So thank you for that. Okay. Who else? Any other comment? You don't have to say something, but if you want to, here is an opportunity. Daniel, please go ahead.
Okay. Pastor, I am in Ghana, and often I have to stay awake till 12 a.m. Then I join the club.
Wow.
But it's been a blessing since I started joining. I think I have missed only one, but I am learning so much. Some of the books I am not able to download, or I'm not able to buy or pay for it, but I listen keenly, and I'm learning so much. I believe it's going to help me. I am not a pastor with a district or any of that, but I've been on mission assignments several times, and I am learning much. I am happy. I receive your messages of my ability to join, and I said, Pastor, you don't know how much I am enjoying. I am receiving blessing from these meetings. So, Pastor, I thank you very much. I will
Praise
continue
God.
to join and
Thank you,
learn
Daniel.
much.
That's
Yes.
excellent.
Thank you.
Many times we do lots of projects and you don't know how much it affects people. So I'm glad that this is being a blessing to you and to others. We're going to put it on YouTube starting in the next, I don't know, month or so. And we have already 3 or 4 that are ready. And we're going to continue publishing them once or twice a week thereafter. And then once it's out, you can listen to this whole thing again. You can then share it with your friends. So that's the next steps. Okay, last word.
I know I'll be the first to share, because I just go to YouTube anytime, any moment, and I'll be sharing a lot.
Excellent. Thank you, Daniel.
God bless you. Yeah.
Thank you. Gaurav, you're next. Go ahead.
Hi, Pastor. Yeah, I'm joining from Abu Dhabi. I have a question in regards with, as you explained, choosing your audience. So, yeah, in terms of, for example, you mentioned of fatherhood. So if we put up content related to fathers, then, yeah, we may select the group of fatherhood. But in case of, let's say, conservative and liberal, for example, if you're trying to put a content which is a conservative base, wouldn't you want liberals to hear that content? I mean, why would we target a content to a group who already believes in a set of principles? Rather, we would target the opposite group. Also, for example, in religious sector, let's say you put up a Christian, let's say Sabbath-oriented content. Instead of focusing on Seventh-day Adventist, as you mentioned, they might share to their friends, but most of the time, their friends are also Adventist. So we would rather target non-Adventist Christians, let's say Baptist, Methodist. So because of they don't have the knowledge which we are sharing in our content. So we want to target the opposite side rather than those who already believe certain set of principles. So what are your thoughts on that?
Correct. Absolutely right. And that's what we do with our pages. With the prayer ads, for example, those ads went out to not to Adventists, but to everybody. So they're not specific to a particular group. It depends on your strategy. And so let's start with the last part of your question. If you have an evangelistic campaign, some content you will share with Adventists for them to share with others, and not for them to share only on Facebook normally, but also on Facebook Messenger, where they can target the top 3 friends that they can share with. So that's one way. Or you can contact the people that you want to reach directly. Not just Seventh-day Adventists, but other Christians or other denominations that, other religions that you want to focus on, depending on which part of the world you're in. Remember, your message, the text that goes with your message, with your ad, and the photo, the image or the video that goes with your ad, it's all speaking, and people will resonate with that more or less, depending on how good it is, how connected they are with that thing that you are promoting. So, when we talk about conservatives and liberals, we're not talking about religious conservatives and religious liberals. There are plenty of atheists who are conservative politically. It's just a mindset of the kinds of sentences that they respond to. So a secular conservative would respond well to something like, take responsibility for your life and that kind of dialogue, because they're interested in the conservative values, the family structure values, so if you focus on family, and you have a conservative message for family, it will focus it will have one language. If you have the same photo, but the text is now for political liberals, you would have a different text that will resonate with them, right? Because those are, and if they're moderate, you could have a third. And those are, if you want more information about this, you can email me. I can send you some extra stuff. But the language is really important on how people resonate with different with different messaging, depending on how they're wired. It's also part of the personality traits. You know, in some of the, one of the big 5 personality dimensions is conscientiousness. Another one is being open to new experiences, openness. If you are very conscientious and you're not open to new experiences, you are conservative, politically conservative. It is very rare that this isn't the case. And if your personality is less conscientious and you are much more open to new experiences, that makes you a liberal in most of the time. And if you are half on each, or one of them is high and the other one is low, or vice versa, then you're a moderate. You can easily go from one to the other. So that's a fascinating study that has to do with personality. So that's something that you need to consider as you put out your messages. So for example, if you want to focus on, yeah, I think that's enough for that question, for that point. But thank you for bringing it up, because I'm not referring to religious conservatives, although I could. I'm referring to your political view of how you see the world. Do you see the world where individuals are really what matters? Do you see the world as only the collective matters? Or do you see the world halfway through both of those? So this could be another episode in itself, trying to understand the difference between the political conservatives and political liberals, and why it matters in terms of messaging. This is particularly important for copywriters to understand, but that's another episode. Now, let me announce next week's book. This book is called Take It to the Next Level. What Got You Here Won't Get You There, by Marshall Goldsmith. So this guy is a very famous coach, you know, not the new life coaches, but the original, you know, business CEO coach. So he has guided some of the top CEOs for decades. And this book is written with his main counsel, the 21 things he noticed that stops people from growing in their careers and in their organizations and in their you know, in their ability to lead. Let's put it that way. So this book has had a profound effect in my ministry. Before coming to America, before coming to the General Conference, back in England, where I was a local church pastor for 11 years, every project I was ever involved with, there was a considerable number of people that absolutely hated both the project and me. And, you know, there was no project that I touched that I didn't have at least 5 to 10 people that absolutely wanted that thing dead. And in the last 4 years, for various reasons, I have not experienced the same thing. I'm sure that I have some people that don't like me, all the projects that I work with. I just don't know who they are anymore. And before that, it was very clear who they were. So it's a change, it's a shift. And this book was largely responsible for that shift. There are 21 things that you are doing right now that are stopping you from growing in your ability to lead. There are 21 things that you need to absolutely look out for. Obviously, you're not doing that badly in all of them. I am sure that you are doing pretty well in some of them. All of us are. But definitely, you could learn some things that will help you to lead better and to progress. And the premise of the book is, if you have the characteristics of getting things done, of being very competent, and so on and so forth, you will come to a position of management. And the very things that got you to a position of management, those very things, if you don't change, will stop you from growing further in your leadership. Not different things, those very things. So I'll leave that as a advertisement. Read the book, listen to the book if you can, read the summary of the book, read the summary over and over, watch the YouTube links. Many people had a problem registering to today. They didn't get the emails and all sorts of things. If you go to the link and you register again for the new episodes, you will start getting the emails again. We hope. Miriam and I are trying to fix this without much success. So if you don't get a reminder and you don't get the summaries, etc., you can email Miriam and she will send it to you separately. But otherwise, yeah, register again and you should get the email. You cannot miss next week's book. It is going to be amazing. The title of the YouTube that you will upload your discussions to, Eden is asking. I will share with all the emails that register for the book club, including yours. I will share the YouTube videos when they start. We're going to take the emails from Zoom and we're going to create a good mailing list and send them through when they come out. But we're not even sure which channel they will be in. Probably the Gain channel. Gain is yeah, I think that will be the best channel to put it in. But if not there, somewhere else. Good. Thank you very much, guys. Let's have a word of prayer and let's end tonight's episode. Jesus, thank you for helping us to get through 1 million followers. Thank you for the ideas. Thank you for these amazing tools that help us to reach people. Lord, beyond the Facebook algorithms, you know people that need to hear from you. You know their hearts, you know their struggles, you know their suffering, you know their depression, their anxiety, their lack of hope, and your message needs to reach them. Please, I pray that each of us that have been part of this and that are watching later, that we can do our best to reach people that need to hear from you. We pray in your name. Amen. You have been watching Sam's Book Club. I will see you next week. Bye.